Hi, everyone. Welcome, welcome. You're all popping in on mute, so it's going to be really quiet, but I can see all of you, and I just sent out an email reminder. It's still going out to everyone that registered, just to let them know we're going live. We have an amazing group of people registered today, lots of people, so let's see who shows up. That's always like the fun challenge, okay? You know, all these people register and like, let's see who shows up. It's like a fun little game. Hi, Todd. Okay, so let's see.
How are you, Gelly?
I am good. I am, as usual, juggling. My daughter is home with me today, so if anyone sees a little 7-year-old pop up behind me, just FYI.
Oh,
She's hanging out here with me today.
no problem. I was going to try the virtual background feature for the meeting, and my
Yeah.
computer is too old. The processor's not.
Oh.
So you'll see, behind me, my dog.
Oh yeah, we do see your dog. I love the dog. What is what kind of a dog is it? A spaniel of some sort, or?
He's, Cocker Spaniel and a Cavalier King Charles mix.
Yeah, I
He's
was gonna say. Well, I saw I had a Cocker Spaniel growing up, so I don't really know my my dogs, but I know the Spaniels, especially the
Mhm.
Cocker Spaniel, just because I had one. So that's
Yeah,
it. That's as far as my dog knowledge goes.
so, he was a rescue pup. We adopted him a while ago, and he loves keeping an eye out for the mailman, of course.
Wow, is that what he's doing? Keeping an eye out for
Mhm.
the mailman?
He's got a built-in watch, I swear.
That's funny. I was on the phone with somebody yesterday, Dawn, one of my members from a mastermind, and she said, Gelly, hold on, the dog is trying to figure out how to get outside and attack the pest control guy. She's like, I have to figure out how to get the dog away from the window. So yeah.
Yeah, I keep trying to discourage him, and so he's evolved from barking to singing. He'll sing.
That's interesting. A singing dog. A singing
Yeah,
dog. I love that. I
so
love that. Well, welcome everybody else. Like I said, I see you all popping on. Let's see. It looks like we have about 18 participants so far. We had 80 registers. So, let's again, like I said, we'll see how many will show up. It should be an awesome group of people. I have been, let's see, this particular presentation. So as a lot of the things that I teach, they're in my head, and I do, because these are things I teach you the things that I do. So if I'm doing them, I don't always have a presentation ready. So I've been sitting here the last few days and compiling and refining the presentation. And so I'm really excited to share this. And of course it gets really long because I'm such an overshare. I always want to share as much information as I can. And then, so I finished it. I saved it. I was like, oh, this is going to be awesome. I'm scanning over it one more time, and I noticed the last 5 slides that I was working on, I accidentally deleted, and I could not figure out a way to bring them back because I must have saved it, and then there wasn't any previous version. So the good news is like I said, because it's all in my head, and I do all this on the daily, I was able to quickly put them back in, and probably better because when it was coming from my memory, it was like quicker, like they're quicker tips, like before I maybe had more information, and sometimes when you give too much information it can confuse people. So so that's where we're at. But I hope all of you are ready for an amazing presentation, because like I said, I am pretty stoked to deliver this. And for those of you that have been following me for a while, I start in I'll maybe repeat this again when people join on. I'm just kind of bantering right now, but when I first launched my company 12 years ago, I was all about, networking events and promoting events. And I didn't quite realize the business of grabbing people's email address. I'm so lucky that I started grabbing it, but I just didn't realize, like, when you build an email list, you essentially, like, just that in itself could be a huge moneymaker. Right. So there's so much that goes into having an email list. And so that's why I was bantering with a few people on the networking calls that we host weekly last week. And Jesus, you were there, and you were one of the ones that gave me the idea, right? Talk about landing pages. And so I'm like, well, the thing about landing pages is there's got to be a purpose for it. What's the purpose for it? Well, usually it's to get people's email address, right? So I was kind of taking a few steps back, and I'm like, well, why don't I talk about that topic? Because that's really the moneymaker, is when you have people's email addresses. So that's what we're going to cover today. And we do have a lot to cover. So I am going to start on time. My iPhone's telling me it's 12:01. So we're going to go ahead and get started. Like I said, we might have some more people joining us, and that is wonderful. They can join us whenever they're ready. So a few things to start. Housekeeping items. We always need to start with housekeeping items. So smile because you're on camera. Okay, thank you for that. I just saw all of you smile. It's important to remember that you've probably heard me say this if you've been in any of my webinars, but just because you can't see yourself on camera doesn't mean that we can't. All right. Or so I have the gallery view on, which means I can see all 28 of you that are logged on right now, 29. I mean, the names just keep popping up. So I can see all of you. And some of you have your cameras off, which is fine. You don't have to have them on for the webinar. But again, I can see all of you. And when I'm teaching, I look at your facial reactions. So if you're welcome to communicate your facial reactions to me, because I can actually see them. What I can't see is the chat. Because when I'm sharing my screen, the chat box kind of disappears, and it's a challenge for me to find it. So as I'm teaching the course, if you want to add a comment, please unmute yourself, because otherwise I'm not gonna see your question until the very end. And because we're covering so much information today, I'm actually going to ask if we can keep the questions until the very end, only because, like I said, there's so much information to get through, and I will stay on afterwards as long as the questions keep coming. I will stay and answer. All right. So those are a few of the housekeeping rules. And a few of you that just joined, I just want to say welcome. Remember, you're on camera. Don't do anything weird on camera. That has happened to me a number of times. People forget they're on camera and they do things they should not be doing on camera. So I'm just going to repeat that because it's a big deal. I think I mentioned everything else. I've got two screens going, so I'm just looking at my list. I would encourage you to, you're here. You showed up. Thank you. I think the information that I'm going to teach you is really valuable. You guys, I'm sure all of you want to increase your revenue. We all want to make money. We all want more clients. So this is a lot of what I'm going to be talking about today. So I encourage you to shut down your email, put your phone on mute. Mine's on mute. It's blowing up. It's on mute, unless it's my mom with an emergency. I will not be answering it. So I encourage you to do the same thing. Be present. You're here. You might as well get the most out of it. Okay. So those are my housekeeping items. So now let's talk about why you're here. Okay. Before I talk about myself, we're going to talk about you. So the reason that you're here is probably because as an entrepreneur, you're always looking to build connections with new customers, but you need to build these connections. You need to find new customers. So that's right. I mean, unless you're just here to hang out with me for an hour, I'll take that too. You're also looking for ways to stay in front of both new clients and old potential clients, right? Because not everybody on your email list has ever purchased from you. I will tell you from personal experience, again, having done this for 12 years, there's a woman that called me yesterday, and she said, I want to sign up for the passport. And I'm like, oh, wonderful. Love those phone calls. And she signed up, and I went and looked at her profile. She's been with me for 5 years. She's been a freebie member for 5 years. And that happens all the time. I have people that sign up and they've been a member for sometimes close to 10 years. And I'm like, geez, I mean, that's kind of cool. So I'm not saying they have to be with you that long to purchase from you, but I'm just saying you never know where that next client is going to come from. So on some level that having an email list can be an effective marketing tool, but maybe you don't know where to start. Okay, maybe you do, maybe you don't, maybe you're just starting out with an email list, or maybe you have one and you want to know how to grow it, right? So all of these are things I'm going to cover today. Here's what you're going to learn today. Okay, you're going to learn, in fact, let me share my screen for this one. This way, all of you can actually see my bullet points, so you know exactly what we're going to cover. All right. So why building an email list is one of the most important ways to grow your business. How to entice people to give up their email address, because nowadays people would rather give you their social security number than their email address, So we've got to entice people. And logistics of building out offers like a lead magnet and a landing page. We're going to talk about the logistics. I don't know how many of you know what a landing page is or a lead magnet, so I'm going to ask it here in a minute. And then, of course, how do you actually promote it? Where and how do you promote this? So this is in digital marketing ways. This is how we start to build out a funnel, but I'm not going to make this complex, okay? I'm going to give you, like I said, all the way from baby steps to possibly, if you already have this infrastructure as your peer, maybe you can learn a few tips and tricks from me, because I am literally going to be telling all of you what it is that I do. So, and like I said, make sure to stay right until the end to get all your questions answered, because we have so much to cover. I would rather not answer questions in the middle. And if you have a question, write it down. You may forget by the time we get to the end. And I promise I will stay as long as I need to. Okay, so very quickly, we do have an awesome sponsor, Ask My Gurus. I don't know if any of them are on the call. I don't believe Michael or Peter are on the call, but it's okay. When they don't make it, I speak for them. So they, Ask My Gurus, let me quickly show you the website. What they do is if you have a company, a service-based company, and you want to be listed as a guru in that particular field, they have this amazing offer. It's $100 for the year, just for my people. This isn't for everyone, but just, for you guys are my people. So it's a great way to get found. It's a great way to get your business online. Something for you to consider. See, they have all these categories, but there are actually a lot more categories than just listed here. So if you are interested, please let me know. And what I will do is I'll actually make a personal introduction in the follow-up email. I'll give everybody the link so you can explore the site. But keep in mind, they are local. They are family-run business. They are kicking butt. They are driving a lot of traffic to the site, and they are looking for gurus in their respective fields. Okay, that's the thing you need to know. $100 for the entire year of digital marketing promotions. I will send all of you a link to that. Oh, and someone's chatting with me. Jeff, you're very interested. Okay, I love that. So making a mental note. But like I said, I'll send all of you the follow-up. So back to the presentation. So thank you, the Ask My Guru team. They are great. Okay, so we know why all of you are here. Now, some of you may know me, some of you may not know me. There were a lot of new people that signed up. So let me just give you a very, very quick brief of who I am. Why am I even teaching this course? So in 2008, I accidentally launched this business. I accidentally had one of the biggest events this town had ever seen. A lot of what I did was an accident. But it came from the heart, and my entire goal was just to bring the community together in a networking way. I love networking events. I love going to events and meeting people and bringing them together. I mean, it is just such a core passion of mine. I didn't even know how I would make money with this. That wasn't, now 12 years into it, that's a whole different conversation. But back then I had no idea. And it didn't matter because I just wanted to bring people together. And in 2008, I think all of you know what happened, right? When I talk to college kids and high school kids, they're like, what happened? All of you know what happened, right? The economic crisis. And the images that you see here, this is 27-year-old Gelly expecting maybe 100 people to show up to her event. My mom was doing registration. Over 600 people showed up. It was a logistical nightmare. The police had to come out to direct traffic. And I said, and Bill, oh my gosh, Bill, who's on the call, Bill Surley, he was there recording it. So I have a videotape of this event because I asked Bill from Choya Productions to come and record it. So Bill, I'm so glad you're on this call. But it was just, I said to myself, if I did this by accident, what can I do on purpose? Right. And from that point on, I started having the signature events. At one point, we had over 2,000 people attending. I mean, it was crazy. The only place we could host them was the casinos, because where else are you going to park 2,000 cars? Right. So my point in telling you this is that for the last 12 years, I have spent my time and efforts in building my community, building my email list, and then understanding how to monetize it. So a lot of what I'm going to teach you today really has been the evolution of these 12 years. All right. So, and for those of you that maybe have never met me, that's who I am. That's what I'm about. Just to give you a little bit of a background. Okay. So the next slide, well, I told you about this, but now, I'm the founder of networkingphoenix.com. My name is Gelly. That's like Kelly with a hard G, Gelly. I always forget to tell people that. Like that's how you pronounce my name. And if anyone's interested in even more about me, I do have a TED Talk you can Google, and it's all about mine and my family's journey from the former Soviet Union. We came here as political refugees. So I came to Arizona when I was 8. So I'm almost a native, but not quite. Came here when I was 8. All right. So Networking Phoenix, I think most of you are familiar. We cater to business owners, entrepreneurs, marketing, sales professionals. We have over 43,000 members as part of the community, part of the tribe. And I host networking events. I promote networking events. And now, with the whole COVID situation, I'm not hosting face-to-face events, but I am hosting virtual events weekly. Typically they're on Fridays. Sometimes they're on a Thursday. So if anyone's ever interested in one of those virtual events, I'll let you know how you can, pop into one. So enough of all that logistical stuff. Okay. You're here to learn, and I know that. So if you are excited to start, learning about the whole list building situation, go ahead and type yes into the chat box for me. Okay. This is the one time where I'm going to ask you to type yes into the chat. And I encourage all of you to do this if you can. And part of the other reasons is because this is how I take attendance. My amazing intern, who's usually on these calls and does that for me, she's not able to be here today. So if you could please, and if you don't want to say yes, maybe type your name in, but if you at least just type something in the chat box, I know you were here, so I will know how to follow up with everybody properly, because follow-up is key, right? So thank you everybody for participating. And I love seeing everyone excited. I'm seeing lots of yeses come through. Again, my chat box is tiny because I'm sharing my screen, but I'm seeing them. So very, very much appreciate that. Okay, so let's get started and let's talk about your email list. So show of hands, how many of you already have a list? And you can literally do this because I can see all of you, those of you that have your cameras on. Okay, so let's see. We've got Anne Marie, Bill, Jesus, Bill. I'm not sure if it's Janice or Janice Russell, I think. Steve Kellogg, Carrie, Carrie, no, Carrie, I don't know how to say it. Not Carrie Jones. Carrie, I know how to say your last name. The other Carrie, Nowocin. We're friends, and I don't know how, I don't want to butcher your last name. And I see Robert. Okay, so some of you have it and some of you don't. Okay, that's okay. So like I said, we're going to cover a lot today. How do we start and how do we grow it? So if you haven't built an email list yet, or you don't put much effort behind it, you're missing an opportunity to take your business to a whole new level. Okay, the first thing I'm going to try to do is convince you why you need to be spending a majority of your marketing time building a list, especially if you don't have one. Okay, so the importance, so that's what we're going to talk about, the importance of an email list. Okay, so email is still the #1 communication channel. Yes, there's social media. Yes, we need to network face to face. Yes, LinkedIn is phenomenal, but email is still the #1 communication channel. Don't let anybody tell you otherwise. Email is not dead. Email is wonderful. At least 99% of consumers check their email on a daily basis. And most people have an email address. Okay, so that's why email is still huge. And this really can't be said of any other communication channel. Yes, a lot of people have a Facebook. Yes, a lot of people they're on other social media. And if they, by the way, if they're on any of those other social medias, they have an email address, right? So they're checking their email. So the other important part of an email list is that you own your own list. Here's something, I can give you a real life example. For instance, Meetup. I have a very good friend of mine who has built a very large community on her Meetup group through Meetup. Very active, incredible, but she doesn't have anyone's email address. She only communicates to them through Meetup. And from the day we met 3 years ago, I've been saying to her, you need to get everyone's email. What if Meetup goes away tomorrow? Boom, she's lost the entire community. Same for Facebook. Those of you that have, followers on your page. Okay, well, somebody can hack into your Facebook and take over your Facebook and your group account, boom, gone. This happened to one of my friends, Philip Gelb, just about like a few months ago. Somebody hacked into his Facebook account and took over all of his Facebook pages, and he had a lot of followers. And now they're promoting their own stuff to his people, and he can't get in. Facebook is not responding to him. Okay, so this is, again, that's why having your own email list is important. Don't ever rely on somebody else's social media platform for your community. On any social media platform, your account, like I said, could be suspended. I essentially just said all of these points. Email converts better. Again, I've heard, people are like, oh, is email dead? Does anybody read email? I don't want to send email. Do you want to make money? Start sending emails. I mean, it's that simple, right? I get sometimes people will get upset with me. I mean, this happens all the time. And they'll, Gelly, you send too many emails. I'm unsubscribing. Good. Thank you. You're not my avatar. You're not my person. If you're on my email list and you don't open up my emails, you're taking my rating down. So if my emails bother you, do me a favor and unsubscribe. This isn't my ego talking. This is pure numbers talking. I don't need you bringing my ranking down. The people that want to hear from me read my emails. It's that simple. And same for you. But you have to be talking to your target audience. That's key. And you're going to hear me say this over and over and over. If you're not catering to your avatar, we're going to talk about what an avatar is in a minute, you're missing the whole mark, right? Because it's like, if I go into a room full of, people that are into art and start talking about math, they're going to be like, I'm sorry, did you enter the wrong room? But, I'm just giving a generic example here, but you've got to be talking to your people. So I believe I covered all the points here, but, and if you are wondering if social media converts even better, think again, the average order value, I'm right here. This is important. The average order value of an email is at least 3 times higher than that of social media, meaning people spend more money on email through an email. Okay, that's why it's important. Oh, I think this is, I accidentally copied the same slide. Okay, email is simply the best way to make sales online. Okay, I hope I made my point at this point. Email is important. Okay, Gelly, we know this. Again, more stats. Remember I told you I was compiling the presentation and I'm just like, wow, so much information. I need to get it all in. But some more interesting stats. 72% of US adults prefer email over postal mail, TV ads, newspapers, magazines, text messages, social media, and in-person communication. Okay, 91% like to receive promotional emails. This is for all those people that say to me, I'm afraid to send email because I don't want to be annoying. And I hear this all the time. 91% like to receive promotional emails from companies with which they have a relationship. Build a relationship with your people and they'll want to receive your emails. 69% of the respondents made purchases influenced by promotional emails. Okay? Right. So the next step we're going to talk about is you have to choose an email service provider. Now, there are so many to choose from. I personally use MailChimp, and I am not on the free version, obviously, because I have more than 2,000 emails. But if you have under 2,000 emails on your list, MailChimp is free. And then I believe a lot of, again, the other service providers are free. I've been with MailChimp for a few years, so I can only speak to MailChimp. And I'm not touting that they're the best, honestly, but that's just who I signed up with. And I've built out my entire infrastructure with MailChimp for the moment. And I may switch from them at some point. So I'm being very transparent, but I actually love how easy it is to use MailChimp. And I recommend it to everybody I work with, everyone that's in my mastermind, everyone that's in my certification programs. So if you don't have an MailChimp account, in the chat box right now, I'm going to give you this link so you can go and create one. So I don't know if I'll be able to get to my chat. Let's see this. Oh, there we go. It worked this time. It doesn't always work. This is like a magic trick. Look at that. The magic worked. And I'll put this in the follow-up email as well. But again, you can create a free MailChimp account and just start playing with it. The best way to figure something out is to just start playing with it. Okay. So that's step number 1. We're going to choose an email service provider. Step number 2, we're going to create a lead magnet. Again, show of hands. How many of you know what a lead magnet is? Rick Allen, Jesus, Ross, Steve, Bill, a few of you. Helen, I see you gave me a thumbs up. Thank you so much. Like I said, I see all of you. So thank you for participating and engaging. So, okay, a lead magnet. I bet all of you have seen many lead magnets. You're just not quite sure that that's what they're called. So let me explain to you what a lead magnet is, okay? It is an irresistible bribe. It literally is a bribe, okay? Offering a specific chunk of value to a prospect in exchange for their contact information. AKA, I'm going to give you a piece of candy if you give me your email address, right? Like I'm going to give you something valuable, but you give me your email address. That's a lead magnet. So the candy in this scenario is the lead magnet. Okay. Who doesn't want a free Snickers bar? I don't know. Maybe not me. Maybe give me something more organic, but that's what a lead magnet is. So what are some examples? And I'm going to show you examples, but first we're going to look at the slide. Lead magnets usually offer a valuable, all caps and bold, I am screaming this at you, valuable piece of digital downloadable content. Okay. It could be PDF checklist. It could be tips. It could be a cheat sheet. It could be a report. It could be a webinar. This webinar is a lead magnet. There are a lot of you logged on right now that don't get my emails, maybe have no idea who I am. I shouldn't say a lot of you, but here and there. But you found this webinar interesting and you wanted to join. And so you gave me your email address when you registered, right? So this webinar is considered a lead magnet. Ebook. We've all heard of ebooks, right? So an ebook is a lead magnet. Video, maybe free training, right? Free training on setting up a YouTube channel, or, maybe if you're interested in learning, okay, I want a YouTube channel. How do I do it? Oh, and you Google somebody has a free webinar or a free training on it, but you need to give them your email address. So that free training is a lead magnet. So let's take a look at some examples. All right. So this right here, this is the most basic one I created years ago. All right. And I'm going to start with the most basic ones and go to like the more advanced ones, because I want to show you how simple this is. It's really not that difficult. Okay. This is the do's and don'ts of networking. So somebody that's just starting out in networking has no idea what networking is about. Maybe they land on my page or one of my blogs and they say, oh, I would love Gelly's, do's and don'ts of networking, like the top 5 tips or, whatever I might have called it. So, and here I give them some tips, don't push your product, do be yourself, don't monopolize people's time, yada, yada, yada. And, I give some of my contact information. Again, this is a little outdated, but pretty simple, right? So they give me their email address and they're able to either download this right away or I sent it into their inbox. Okay, so now I have their email address and they have my very valuable networking tips. Okay, so this is a lead magnet. Is this making sense? I can see all of you, so shake your head or no if it's not. Okay, got it. That's just one example. I'm going to show you another example right here. This is a lead magnet. This is a cheat sheet for writing blog posts that go viral. Okay, this one is a lot more complex than mine, as you saw, right? A lot of information here. Okay, so this is, it's all about headlines, how to create a good headline. I mean, you can see it goes on and on. Oops, and it just disappeared. Here it is. Okay, well, I showed you what I needed to show you, but essentially, this is another version of a PDF of, again, so in exchange for an email. All right. I'm trying to think. Another lead magnet that I wanted to show you is from, where is it? You know what? I don't think I opened it. I didn't open the checklist. Okay, this is a landing page. So what we're going to do, we're not talking about landing pages yet. Okay, so this is one of my clients, Dawn. And I know Dawn is on the call, Dawn Taylor. So Dawn works with medical practices. And she helps medical practices in a number of different ways, actually, to increase their revenue. Right now, she's helping with a lot of the COVID practices that need to happen. She's helping out in getting the supplies, right? Like what, I don't know if I'm going to say it right, the PP, the masks and the gloves, right? Okay. So Dawn and I have worked on putting together, this is her landing page, and we'll come back to this, but once you fill out this landing page, so see how simple it is, right? And we'll come back talking about landing pages, but once you fill this out, she is giving away a checklist. She's giving away an entire checklist into these medical practices that she put together. And this is a very extensive checklist. I'm going to find it because I want all of you to see it. And it's a very extensive checklist because there's so much information out there. So Dawn has been joining all the different webinars that are being offered on this topic. And based on the information that she learned, she put together the checklist. So this is a very, very valuable piece of information for her avatar. Does that make sense? So, this may not be relevant at all to Anne Marie. Anne Marie is not in the medical practice field. Okay, but anyone that's in the, well, she says yes. Well, you know what? Anne Marie loves all education, so she's probably going to go sign up. I know Anne Marie, but
we work with physicians very closely.
I'm so glad you said that. Oh, maybe that's why I called your name out of all the random names. So Anne Marie, and I actually think, I think you've met Dawn because, both of you were in the mastermind at one point. So, but Dawn has this extensive checklist. So I will put this into the chat box right now. Chat box. And for anyone else that might be interested in Dawn's extensive, amazing checklist, you would just literally fill out your name here. And what happens is, look, so if I put in my name or my email and my name, and I click on email me my checklist now, so it's really cool because first it's going to come into my email, but Dawn also is allowing me to download it here. Click the picture to download your checklist, right? Do you see how easy and simple she's making it for me? She's not putting me through hoops. And like I said, this is a very simple landing page that we built out through MailChimp. Nothing fancy, nothing that required bells and whistles or buying new software. I mean, it was nothing crazy like that. And here's the checklist, right? So I'm going to scroll down and you'll see it's again, it's valuable information. You don't have to be the best graphic designer artist. You don't have to, get this approved and published by, a gazillion people. I mean, look at these resources. This is incredible, So again, if you know anyone that's opening up a medical practice, feel free to pass on Dawn's hard work to them. Okay, so lead magnet. Do we understand that? Okay, I think we got it. So let's go back to the presentation. So the goal of a lead magnet is you are trading value for their email address, which we already said. You want them to opt in. Very, very easy. Very easy concept. Okay, so every business needs a lead magnet. So if you don't have a lead magnet, you're a little behind. Okay, so every business needs a lead magnet. Even if this is a hobby, maybe you're not quite doing this for money yet, but maybe it's a hobby of yours that you're kind of playing with and seeing what you can do with. You need a lead magnet. I'll give you another real life example. 5 years ago, I went through a divorce. Like a lot of people going through a divorce, I put up a blog documenting, it's called Documenting My Life Pivot, because I'm a writer and to me just, it was healing and yada, yada, blah, blah, blah. To this day, that website gets hits constantly. People Google whatever they Google about divorce and they land on my website. So what I have on there, my lead magnet on there, again, another little PDF Word or document, it's called 25 things to do right now if you're going through heartache. That's it. It's just, it's a little hobby. But you know what? If I can start to generate people's email addresses, why not? What if I need them in the future? Again, like this is a, think of, how do I say this? I understand that you're gathering emails for your own business, but to give you maybe another abstract thought, even with your hobby that maybe you're not making money with yet, get people's email addresses, because once you have people's email addresses, you have a much better chance of generating more revenue, creating another revenue stream, right? Things of that nature. So that's what every business needs, a lead magnet. Okay, I think we covered everything on here on these points. Okay, so what makes a good lead magnet? Okay, let's talk about that. It needs to be easily consumed. Okay, lead magnets are only effective when the audience uses them. So if you deliver a 300-page manifesto, you won't get traction. Okay, so you do not need to be giving away a novel. I know I showed you some pretty, the two examples I showed you Dawn's, which is 15 pages, which I will say is not typical, but Dawn is actually in a non-tip, like COVID is not a typical thing either. You know what I mean? So she can easily get away with this. John's was actually pretty long too, but then you saw mine where it was just a one pager, and so many of them are just one pagers, and that's okay. Or it's a free, or it's just a video tutorial, right? It doesn't have to be super duper long. And in fact, what studies suggested, the shorter it is and the quicker people can take action on it, the more they're likely to actually engage with it. So if you make it too long because you offer too much content, then you may actually be defeating the point. Okay, another thing that makes a good lead magnet, actionable. Lead magnets need to provide an actionable tool, skill set, or useful information that your audience can apply. Okay, this seems pretty self-explanatory, but wanting to state this anyways. It needs to be immediately available. People love instant gratification, so give it to them right then and there. I mean, I'm so glad we looked at Dawn's example. You saw how I clicked on her. I gave her my email information, and right away she says, great, Gelly, it's in your inbox, and you can even download it here if you want it even faster. Love that. Instant gratification. Okay, here it is. Okay, this one is so important. Make sure your lead magnet targets your avatar. What is an avatar? An avatar is your ideal client. I can't stress enough, you need to know who you are targeting. If you say to me, everyone, let's say you're a realtor and you can sell a house to everyone, everyone is not your avatar, because not everyone is going to buy a house from you. So you need to know exactly who your client is. The biggest mistake marketers make with their lead magnet is trying to attract too many people, right? So if you're trying to speak, I'll give you an example. Who are my avatars? Okay, me as Gelly. I work with entrepreneurs. I work with small business owners who maybe have, one or two employees. So entrepreneurs, I mean like solopreneurs, right? And business owners who maybe have one or two employees. I work with people in business development positions, and I work with people that are job seekers, right? Essentially, these are the 4 avatars that are networking. Now, I know that, again, through 12 years of doing this, I know who spends the most money with me, and it's typically the solopreneur, right? And it doesn't mean that the other ones don't, but the chunk is the solopreneur. So when I'm catering my marketing and when I'm creating my avatars and lead pages, like I know how to speak to the solopreneur. The solopreneur has to do everything by themselves. The solopreneur has to do the marketing. The solopreneur has to do the business. Like there's so much they have to do. And do you know why that's my biggest audience? Because that's me. I'm a solopreneur. I also do everything myself, right? So I understand that world and I can help them the most. Don't ask me to help you network into a job, because I don't know what it's like to network into a job. I would say to you, why do you need a job? Why don't I just help you start a business? Much easier for me. I don't speak the language of, help me find a job. So knowing your avatar is huge, because if you don't know who your avatar is, you may create the best looking landing page, but if it doesn't cater to your audience, no one's going to click on anything. Your lead magnet needs to be ultra specific. Okay. Ultra specific to the people you wanted to attract. Your lead magnet isn't relevant to the wants and needs, or if your lead magnet isn't relevant to the wants and needs of your avatar, they aren't going to download it. simple, obvious things. I already explained this. Okay, something else to note, a little tip. Most companies have multiple buyer personas, multiple avatars, but each lead magnet should only target one of them. Okay, so again, if I have 4 avatars I'm catering to, does that mean I should have 4 landing pages? This is a pop quiz. If I have 4 avatars, how many landing pages should I have? 4. Thank you. Yes. I see you all. I see you. Yes. I don't want one landing page catering to multiple personalities. Okay. That's not going to attract the right personality types. That's going to attract people with multiple personalities. And that's a whole other conversation. Okay. So the next question you might have for me is, Gelly, great. How do I design my lead magnet? Most of you have probably heard of Canva. If you have not heard of Canva, let me just quickly walk you through it. Canva is free on the most basic level. There is a paid version, or you can pay as you go on the freebie version. But here's my account on Canva, and we can look at all my designs. Okay, you see, I like, I design all sorts of different things. You can just hop in here. I'll show you how you can create different designs for different social media purposes, but I just quickly want to scroll you through some of mine, because some of you probably have seen these, right? Because I actually use these as marketing tools, and this is where I get them from. I create them in Canva. I believe my actual, oh, here we go. See my networking tips right here. This is what I wanted to show you. I designed it in Canva, so it's sitting right here, the networking tips. And I think the other one that I mentioned on my personal blog is also sitting, right here. I'll just show you also it's a one-pager. It's very simple, one-pager. 25 things to do right now if you're hurting. All right. And then it's, again, I give them my website so I can lead them back and whatnot. It's very simple. Okay. Like I said, does not have to be complex. So when you land on Canva and you create your free profile, or maybe you already have one, let's go back to home. So they have so many different, they make it so easy for you. Let's just kind of scroll here for a minute. They have Instagram posts, Facebook posts, logos, flyers, right? So you could take a flyer and create, and they have many, right? So you can click on see all, there's many options, but you could literally open up a flyer and go through, like rearrange things basically to create your own PDF with your information. We have posters you can use. They have Facebook covers, social media, cards, presentations. I mean, it just goes on and on. Instagram stories, YouTube thumbnails, infographics. An infographic is an awesome lead magnet, right? I mean, for instance, you could take, I mean, Dawn, I don't know. I mean, this one is about health, and we mentioned you earlier, but I mean, we could literally click on this, the best health apps, and but instead of apps, you could write, you can come up with another creative title and maybe give the top 8 tips, even though you have so many on the other one. But this is almost like a quick infographic just to give somebody, it's so small. How do I make this bigger? Oh, here we go. I can zoom in, right? Something like this. And people love infographics. Right. So again, just sharing, I'm just trying to share this with you to get your creative ideas flowing, to show you all the fun things that you could possibly do. Pinterest pins, your stories, photo collages, resumes, Zoom virtual backgrounds, by the way, if anyone needs a Zoom virtual background, email headers. We're talking about creating an email list, right? Then you're going to have to send your emails. Well, if you want help creating an email header, you can get one here. Business cards. I mean, it just goes on and on. Okay. So my point is, it's not as challenging as you may think to create something that looks good with your brand on it for you to be able to create as a lead magnet. Okay, so the next thing that we're going to talk about is, what is a landing page? Because so now that you have your lead magnet, Actually, before we go to the landing page, you know, I don't think I mentioned this, but let me, or maybe I sort of kind of mentioned it, but I would just want to reiterate this. So your lead magnet is going to be some valuable information that you can give that pertains to your industry. I think I insinuated that, but I didn't quite say that. So I just want to say that to repeat that. Whatever information, valuable information you can share about your industry that your avatar would find compelling, that's what you would use to create your lead magnet. Okay, so hopefully that made sense. So the next thing is you've created it, wonderful. Well, now you have to get it out there. You've got to trade people for their email address. So the next thing that you need to do is you need to create a landing page. Okay. What is a landing page? In digital marketing, a landing page is a standalone web page created specifically for a marketing or advertising campaign. It's where a visitor lands, right? So it's called the landing page, lands after they click on a link in an email or from Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, you know, wherever they see it, and they land on it. So I'll explain this in my own words, but let's just look at a few more slides, right? So unlike a web page, which typically the web pages have many goals and encourage exploration, landing pages are designed with a single focus or goal known as a call to action. So typically a landing page is a standalone page. It's not part of your website. All right. So for instance, if we look at Dawn, like this is not part of Dawn's website. Dawn, what is your, let's see, it's quality. There we go. Quality management solutions. So this is, nope. Nope. I'm sorry. This is not Dawn's website. Dawn, if you're there, can you ping it to, or put it in the chat really quick? Sorry, I should have pulled this up before. Okay, we'll get Dawn's page, but essentially she's got a whole full-on beautiful website and this isn't it. That's what I'm trying to say. And landing pages are meant to be, oh, here we go. Dawn sent it to me. Thank you, Dawn. Sorry, you see I was trying to look for it before and I typed in the wrong one and that's why it got cached. Okay. Oh, is this it? It didn't want to. There we go. Okay. I just wanted to show all of you Dawn's beautiful site. Now I feel bad. I'm like teasing everyone with it. Okay. So here's Dawn's site, Quality Management Solutions. And you could see that the landing page that she built out very specifically for that checklist. Now she actually has it linked through here on her blog and we'll talk about that. But again, it's, you could see how this is a separate page, right? And so that's exactly what I'm trying to explain to you, is that the landing page does not need to be a part of your website. Okay, essentially that's what we're talking about here. And it's really the focus of a landing page, like, because it's so focused, that makes the landing pages the best option for increasing the conversion rate of your marketing campaign and lowering your cost of acquiring a lead or a sale. Because if you send them to your website, they could get lost on your website and never actually end up giving you their email address. So if all you want is their email address very quickly for a very specific action, you don't really want them exploring anything else. You'll build a relationship with them later on. You'll send them to your website later on. Right now, you just want their email address in exchange for your lead magnet, okay, your valuable information. So, but yeah, I don't know if anyone has this question. Maybe I made it clear, but can't any page be a landing page? Technically, sure, you can call any page a landing page. But again, in digital marketing speak, the term landing page is used to describe a campaign-specific page with just one single call to action and no website navigation. Okay, so let's look at some examples. Love this one. I mean, look at this. You can't click on anything, right? It's just yours free. A cheat sheet for writing blog posts that go viral. Click here for free instant access. Right? This is not John's entire website, but this is just his landing page. And I already showed you what what you get when I gave John my email address. This is what I got. Okay. But it was from this landing page. Let me show you another one. Here's another landing page. Teachable. List Building 101 guide. How to rapidly build an email list. Guess what I was researching as I was putting together this presentation. I was like, I know a lot of this, but I'm always researching, okay, what could I miss? What can I say better? So they have a subheader here, which we'll talk about, from choosing the right email service provider to sending a welcome email to your subscribers. This is the only guide you need to build an email list. Bullet points, boom, boom, boom. Please enter your email address. I primarily identify as, and then this is actually really cool here because they're asking which buyer persona I am. They're literally getting me to tell them whether I'm a coach or a tutor or in-person or online instructor, whether I'm a content creator, blogging, YouTube, Instagram, whether I'm a freelancer or consultant, project-based work, or something else, right? So based on what I select, they're going to speak to me differently. And this is exactly what I teach all of you. You have to speak to your avatar. If you speak in general terms, you're not speaking to anybody. Okay, so this is another really good landing page. So over here, I want to show you this is Heidi, and she's also one of my clients. And Heidi, by the way, is a phenomenal estate planning attorney. So if anybody needs an estate planning services, cannot recommend Heidi enough, and I'm happy to make an introduction. But she actually has this on her website. So I wanted to show you the contrast, and this isn't bad, but I'm not showing this to you in a negative, like, oh, she's not following the rules. I mean, Heidi could easily create another little, like a MailChimp thing like this. But Heidi's actually, she already has an email list, and when she emails her people, she drives them to subscribe, because when they subscribe to this, essentially they get put into another campaign, right? So she's segmenting her list. She's doing something a little bit more complex than what I'm teaching you, but I just wanted to show you another option. The question is, am I breaking all the rules if I do put it on my website? No, you're not breaking all the rules. Sometimes if that's all you can do, okay, then that's all you can do. As long as if that puts you in action and gets you going, you can absolutely make it happen. Okay, so just another quick example there for you. This is another landing page from HubSpot. Free download, free webinar planning kit. Download now for free. They actually have some more information here if you want it. If not, boom, you're done. You don't even know there's the rest. Do you see how much they leave so much white space here? It's on purpose, because some people actually want more information before they give you their email address, and they're going to scroll, right? And right down here, they have get the kit again. But for those people that, if this is all they need, boom, download for free. I don't even know there's the rest of the page. Okay, so that's about landing pages. In order to be good, your landing pages, this is what you need to have when your landing pages in order for them to be effective. You need to have a killer headline. You need to have a great headline. The headline should grab the reader's attention. The headline should tell the reader what the product or service is all about. And the headline should be short, never making more than 20 words, and preferably limited to 10. Okay, so let's look at some of these examples again. So killer headline, grab the reader's attention. So let's look at John's again. A cheat sheet for writing blog posts that go viral. I mean, do we have any questions about what he's offering us? It's pretty clear, right? And this is a great headline. Now, when it comes to headlines, this goes to the subject in your email, your landing page, what you call your PDF file, or, your lead magnet. You need to have a great headline for everything. That's what gets people's attention. Okay, so that's the first thing you need to have. The second thing, persuasive subheads. Because, okay, well, I might be interested in the headline, but I'm not convinced yet. So normally the persuasive subheadline is positioned directly underneath the main headline, and the subheadline should have some element of persuasiveness. The subheadline can go into slightly more depth and detail than the main headline. So let's look at some examples of that. So again, here's John's. Let's look at, actually this one had a better subheadline. So this is his their title, List Building 101 Guide, How to Rapidly Build an Email List. Okay, that's a great headline for anyone that's looking to build a list from scratch. From choosing the right email service provider to sending a welcome email to your subscribers, this is the only guide you need to build an email list. This is the subheadline. Okay, it's a little bit more persuasive, or they're trying to be. And then they give you bullet points. Easy wins to start growing your list, actionable strategies to generate massive growth, surprising case studies. I mean, it's enticing, right? Again, if you're looking to build a list, you're probably going to want, you know, to get their kit. And I actually have, where's their kit? I have it. Did I know I downloaded it. Let me open it really quick. Nope, that's not. Here we go. This is, so when I actually give them my email address, this is the PDF they sent me. Okay, so this is the lead magnet. Do you see that? Just circling it all back for you. This is the lead magnet right here. And theirs is how many pages? Oh, 13 pages. So it's kind of like an ebook. It's a guide. All right. So those are the persuasive subheads. Another thing, you want to have great images. You know, so for instance, most of you probably saw me using this image last week when I was promoting my Zoom class. Even if I don't put any words around it, I think you can, you know, the image says it all. Oh yeah, that's an X, that's the check. Like, you don't even know what I'm necessarily talking about, but you could just see that, right? This image portrays what I'm trying to say. So, right, I mean, the brain processes images 60,000 times faster than text. So images are going to be very important. So again, let's look at images. This is a great image, right? This is like a building. Like I see, it's like an infrastructure of some sort, like a blueprint. This is what my mind is telling me. Here, I love how clean this is. And this is like a book, 52 headline hacks. It's all about writing. I mean, we're going within the brands here. Let me show you this is my landing page for my virtual networking Zoom calls. So this is my parent company, Networked Local, because I'm promoting this on LinkedIn as well. I don't want to use Networking Phoenix, so I'm just, you know, just so you don't think I accidentally grabbed the wrong logo. And it's virtual networking Zoom calls. I mean, it's pretty self-explanatory. I'm telling you exactly what we're doing. We're networking virtually, okay? I'm using a picture of me. I'm not saying this is ideal. This is just how I built it. I know people love visuals because networking is so personal. I want them to see who they'll be talking to, right? That's me with my laptop. And here's my subheadline. I thought about putting it up here, but then I felt like it was a little too much text. I still might. I play with things. I experiment. But here's my subheadline: inviting all business owners, entrepreneurs, and marketing professionals who network to generate new clients and grow their business to join our ongoing moderated virtual networking calls. Okay, so hopefully this interests them. Somebody that lands on here and has zero interest in networking, this doesn't speak to them, right? And I'll take your feedback. I mean, for those of you interested in networking, if you're looking at this and thinking, Gelly, you really missed the mark, feel free to let me know, right? And notice what I ask them: email address, first name, last name, industry, city. Now, I would almost say this is too much, and this is what I struggle with, because ideally the more information you ask for, the less likely you are to get it. See here, it's just like, click here for instant trial. He takes you to another page. Here, just email and just tell me who you are. Dawn's was great. She just had, let me see if I refresh it. Just email and first name, okay? For me, again, the reason I'm thinking this this works for me is because, again, the more you tell me about yourself, the better I can connect you. And I'm really hoping people kind of understand that, first name, last name, I like industry would just be great. And then what city you're in, because like I said, I'm promoting this page nationally. So I need to know time zones and things of that nature. I would not recommend this to the rest of you. And I'm telling you this openly, I kind of play with this, but for me, I figured the people that actually do give this information, those are hot leads, right? I mean, if they took the time to give me all this information, I'm following up with them. So it's a judgment call. Okay, so we talked about pictures. Next, let's talk about, your landing page needs to have a clear call to action. Again, what do you want them to do? Opt in, subscribe, sign me up. You don't really want to say opt in. You want them to opt in, but you don't really want that to be your button. You don't want the word subscribe there either, but that's essentially what you're asking them to do. Sign me up. Let me, again, I already gave you this little tip. Let's just look at these live examples. So my button says, send me the invite, right? So that's what it doesn't say subscribe. It doesn't say, haha, now I have your email address, right? I'm making it more inviting. Send me the invite. I love Dawn says, email me my checklist now. Beautiful. We have Liz Building, download this massive guide. Do you see how they're clear call to actions? And they're inviting call to actions. They're not like subscribe or submit. Like that's boring. You don't really want to go with that. Okay, so great. Now that you have all this built out, well, guess what? Now you actually need to promote it. This is the fun part, promoting your landing page. Know your avatar, know who you are sending this to. And for those of you that don't know what an avatar is, this is just a very quick, I'm going to give you like little scan of your customer avatar. When you work with me, when we work one-on-one or, in one of my 8-week courses or the masterminds, you will hear me say, you cannot market until you know your avatar, and you need to know your avatar better than they know themselves. So who are they? What are their demographics? What are their psychographics? What keeps them up at nights? What are their pain points? What are their goals, their values? Where do they hang out? This is how you're going to know where to promote to them to. Right here. You ever think of running a Facebook ad? Unless you fill one of these out, I don't know how you're just donating money to Facebook. Okay, you need to know your avatar really, really well. So that's why I keep saying you need to know your avatar. So in order to promote your landing page, the key to successfully promoting your landing page is making sure that the right people see it. Again, if I promote my landing page to people that don't care about networking, it's pointless. To help find your target market, you need to define them as precisely as possible. Consider everything from their age and income to their hobbies, political views, and buying behaviors. These are psychographics. Okay, it's psychology. We need to get into the person's mind and understand how they think. So I'm going to give you some very quick and easy tips. This is the part of my presentation that got deleted, but I was like, because I just did it, it was still fresh in my head. So quick and easy tips. Pin this to your Facebook page. Okay, let me show you what I mean by that. Here's my Facebook page. Here is, and I did this 2 hours ago. I took my own tip. I'm like, I can't believe I haven't done this yet. But this is my Networking Phoenix Facebook page. And see how it's got a little pin here? So I made the post, and you just go to the 3 dots and see it says unpin. Well, because it's pinned. Otherwise, it would say pin. And so I pinned it. And now every time any of you land on my page, this is going to be the first post that you see. Okay, and what does it say? We are networking virtually. Join us. If you're an entrepreneur, business owner, or in a business development position and interested in networking, please join my next Virtual Connections Networking Zoom as my guest. And I'm giving them the link. And if they click on the link, then they go to my landing page. They fill this out. They click this, and automatically MailChimp sends them an invite. I have it set up through MailChimp, right? So I don't have to do anything manually, and people just give me their email address and they just show up. And this is outside of how I build my list through Networking Phoenix. So do you see how I have multiple landing pages for different things? Because I understand how to make money with email. So why wouldn't I have it in different places? Of course I would. The more email addresses I get, the better chances I have of making sales. It's engaging with people. I mean, I'm not trying to, make it money grubbing. Ooh, email address is money, but we're all here to make money, right? So if you get people's email addresses, you build their relationship, you make the sale. Okay, so that's what I mean by pinning it on your LinkedIn. Okay, the next one, you can, if those of you that you use Instagram, list on your Instagram in the bio and or add a link tree. So what do I mean by that? Let me show you. So here's my personal Instagram, well, personal business, whatever. I use it for both. You see, I don't have a huge following in my Instagram. I don't really, this is not where I spend a lot of my time list building, but the people that do follow me, I do try to get them engaged with me through landing pages and whatnot. So right here, usually LinkedIn gives you, it allows you one link. So I could either send them to my website or I can send them wherever I want. So I use something called Linktree. So if you click on Linktree right here, it's going to take you, and this is free, by the way. This is a free tool to use, Linktree. It takes you to my Linktree page. And here you have different things you can click on. If any of you are interested in my night meditations that I record, random, but just one of my other little hobbies, you can click on this here. Here's the virtual networking Zoom calls for entrepreneurs. So if I click on this, it takes me to my landing page, right? So you see how I've got it promoted in a lot of different places. And then, then all the other things I want to possibly list in my link tree, I put here, right? So here's a link to my 8-week networking certification, right? So if people want information about that, they can click on it, my TED Talk, yada, yada, yada. All right. So that's what the link tree is. I see a chat coming through. Ross wants to know if I'm going to share the slides with us. I am going to share the recording with everybody. So I hope that's okay. All right. So that's what the LinkedIn is, or I'm sorry, not the LinkedIn, but Linktree. Okay. So quick and easy tips. Okay. The next is add to your banner and social media. So let me show you what this looks like. Some of you might know Yakov. He's done a few LinkedIn courses with us. If you look in his LinkedIn, right on his banner, linked leads, .us/raising capital webinar. So he's using his webinar as a lead magnet right now. And he changes out his image, or not the image, but the words on the image every time he wants you to go to take a different action item. When he's not running this webinar, he gives you a link to his checklist, LinkedIn checklist. Okay, so if we were to type this in right now, it would probably take us to a registration page where we would give him his email address and he would send us the details for his Raising Capital webinar. Okay, so you can create something like this, put it in on your Facebook, your LinkedIn. I don't know if anyone here is using Twitter, but Twitter has a header as well. Okay, so and these are all free. I mean, I'm literally showing you all the free things right now. We haven't even gotten to the paid promotion yet. Add in your signature. So how many of you got an email from me letting you know we're going live with a webinar? I sent it to all of you. So, okay, you got it. If you look at that email, you'll see a PS right above my signature line. What's the PS telling you? It's right here. Okay, so I literally added this into my signature line. So now every time I send an email, I'm going to, type in whatever, thanks, Gelly, whatever, right? And then at the bottom, it's going to say, PS, I'm hosting virtual networking events weekly. Interested in checking one out? Click here, right? So everybody that I'm conversing with sees a little PS from me. And if you've ever taken any of my classes on email, what do I tell you about the PS? Anybody want to unmute and chime in? Anybody remember? No, it's okay. So the PS is one of the most important things to put into your email, because a lot of times people don't read the email, but they look at the PS. It is one of those odd psychological things.
Second most read.
Oh, Steve, we can't. I see you unmuted yourself, but we can't quite hear you. Okay. So, no worries. Okay. So if I click on here, well, it takes me to the landing page. So do you see in how many places I put it? And this is free. Again, like just put it in different places. Okay. So we're going to add in the signature. Now, there are more complex way, of course. There are more complex ways of promoting. If you don't have your own email yet, borrow somebody else's. I get people hire me all the time to send out an email on their behalf and promote them. So these are things that they're going to cost money. So when a lot of people say, "Oh, I don't have the budget," and I get it. I showed you all the free things first, but hey, you want to step up your game, you're going to have to spend some money. Okay, so if you don't have your own email address, borrow somebody else's, invest in the work that they've done, invest in yourself, and drive people to your landing page to get your offer. Okay, so email. Social media posts and ads. On Facebook, you can run ads on Facebook, but if you're running ads on Facebook, you better know your avatar. Otherwise, you're just donating money to Mark Zuckerberg, and you could be donating to somebody that needs it a little bit more than he does. Okay. So, what I see all the time with some of my like newer clients, not anyone that works with me now, but when people first come to me, or they have questions, Gelly, I'm running a webinar and I'm going to teach people about this, and I want to sell tickets and I'm going to run ads on Facebook. I'm sorry, when was the last time any of you purchased a ticket on Facebook to go to an educational event? I mean, raise of hand. I mean, anyway, who buys things on Facebook to go to an event? Nobody. We don't do that. So why would we think that, oh, if I run an ad on Facebook and I'm going to tell, like, no, it doesn't work that way anymore. You have to give away a lot of value in order to get people to know you, like you, and trust you. Networking on the internet is the same way as it is in person. It's actually literally, it's harder because they don't see you in person. So if you're running an ad, you better be running an ad to your landing page where you're giving away free value. Okay, so that's how you would use the ad. And if you could run an ad for a webinar, but it better be a free webinar. Okay, you can't charge people for anything on Facebook, strangers. I mean, you can charge them if you know them and they're already part of your list, but you're not going to charge people on Facebook when you're running an ad. It doesn't make any sense nowadays. Pay-per-click is it's a Google advertising platform, pay-per-click. So, Google lets you go in and set it up in such a way that you only pay when somebody clicks on your ad. So let's say your budget is $50 a week. So you say $50 a week, and that's it. You don't spend more than $50 a week because it's pay-per-click. You can set it up that way in Facebook too, by the way, I believe. You give it a budget. So, that way, you go in and put the right keywords, knowing your avatar. If you don't know your avatar, you won't know your keywords. And then that's how people would find you, right? And again, what would they click on? Well, they would click on your landing page. Guest blogging. Guest blogging is a really interesting one. Usually with guest blogging, you would try to target influencers that have a big following for people that may want your product or services. And here is another big faux pas that I see. I've had two people I had a conversation with recently, and they say to me, Gelly, I'm so frustrated. I've emailed all these influencers and none of them reply to me. And I'm like, well, show me what you sent them. And when I read their email, it sounds like the biggest spammy, junky thing. I'm like, ew, I wouldn't ever respond to you either. And they're like, well, why? I'm offering them $1 million. If they just, promote my product, they could get so rich. You don't talk to people like that. Like, it's spammy. you don't just go up to somebody and say, oh, I mean, listen, I get emails like that constantly. And the only ones I respond to is when people send me a real email like, Gelly, you're a real person and I don't actually know that this would be good for you, but let's have a conversation. Actually, Bill, you're on the call. Bill Dokson, I'm so bad with last names sometimes, I'm sorry, but Bill sent me an email and I read his email, and I honestly, Bill, I get a lot of emails like yours, and I scanned it and I was looking for those human qualities. Is Bill talking to me as Gelly, or is Bill just trying to sell me some get rich, quick scheme, which a lot of times that's not what you're intentionally doing, but that's what it comes off as, because you don't know how to talk to people properly through email in a marketing psychological kind of way. Bill was awesome. I was like, Bill, here's my calendar. Let's schedule a call. We're still chatting. I'm glad to see you're on the call. I respond to people that speak to me in a normal way. So, but the thing is, these new people coming into business, they know their business, but they don't know marketing. And so they're trying to reach out to these influencers, and the influencers are not responding to them because they aren't speaking to them properly. So how do you do that? Great question. I have a whole course on that, you guys. I can't speak to it on this call. I mean, because it's like a whole psychological strategy of how to, get influencers to respond and engage with you. But imagine if somebody, that has a huge following on Instagram or a huge blogger in your arena, and they talk about you and link to your landing page. Just think what that could do for your business, right? So that's what guest blogging is about. And then of course there's organic SEO, which organic SEO can come from your own blog. I don't know how many of you have, again, remember I told you about that blog of mine for the divorce blog, which was really nothing more than a hobby and a healing journey for me. I still get hits on it. The organic part of it, the organic SEO is wonderful. I've never done anything to promote that. Believe me, like I'm not sitting there and promoting this on, Facebook ads or whatever, but people find it because it's just organic keyword searches. So you want to put in the right keywords into your landing page. And if it starts to rank, then what do I mean by rank? That means if people are actually searching for it, landing on it, engaging with it, Google's smart, Google knows that, and Google's going to rank it higher and higher. Okay, and your landing page could be out there for years, and it's just going to keep building that SEO. And this is free. The organic SEO is free. Okay, so these are more complex way of promoting, like I said, but we can have these quick and easy tips that I gave you first. Any of these can get you started. All right. So as a recap, do we all agree that everyone needs an email list? Hopefully I was able to convince all of you at this point. Even if you don't know what you're going to do with it today, doesn't matter. Start building it. You'll figure it out tomorrow or the day after tomorrow. You need to know your avatar. I cannot stress this enough. You need to know exactly who your buyer persona is. It's not everyone. You want to create a compelling, you need to create a compelling lead magnet. Again, why would people give you their email address? Create a very simple landing page speaking to your avatar. If you don't know where to start with MailChimp. It's free. You saw mine, you saw Dawn's. Okay, I gave you some great examples there. Promote your landing page everywhere. Okay, so that's my recap right there. So, so what I'm going to do now is we've got, again, I have to squeeze in a little bit of information, and I'm staying at the end to answer all your questions. Okay, so the thing is, you don't have to do this alone if you don't want to. You can. I just gave you all the do-it-yourself tidbits, but again, if you want a little bit of help, if you've never filled out an avatar worksheet, like you hear me saying it over and over, but you don't know what it is. If you don't know where to find potential clients, especially now, if your conversations are not converting, if you're not nurturing all your new connections and turning them into relationships and then paying clients, if you haven't quite cracked the networking code, you're in charge of your own marketing, you've got to do this all by yourself, and you'd really like to build a solid foundation to last you a long time, here's where I can come in and I can help. Okay, so what I'm going to do is just in the next 5 minutes, if you guys give me 5 minutes, for those of you that need to go, I will not be offended. But like I said, I'm answering all questions at the end. So in the next 5 minutes, I'm going to tell you a little bit about my 8-week certification course that I run. And it's all about networking. It's all about marketing, especially in our COVID times. I mean, I've had to add a lot of that curriculum into the program. Okay. And the way I'm going to talk about it is that it's still very educational. So it still caters to a lot of the questions you might have of how do I do some of these things right now? Okay. So my subject line for my landing page is network during COVID confidently. And the subheader is 8-week networking certification program designed for the business owner and solopreneur. See how I'm speaking directly to my audience who's looking for ways to generate new business, create referral partners, and nurture relationships during our current crisis and beyond. Okay, so I'm speaking to my avatar. I'm giving them a headline. All the things I just taught you, I'm showing you this is how I actually implement it myself. Okay, so 8 weeks at a glance. The first week is great because you get to know you get to know everybody in the class, and I show you guys, I give you guys a template of how to actually connect with any stranger in a very, very authentic kind of way. Okay, this is key for networking. So week 2, we talk about the avatar. You've heard me talk about the avatar all through the presentation. I don't even necessarily need to spend more time on it, but you cannot do your marketing unless you know specifically who your avatar is, and you're probably going to have a few, which means you're going to have a few different marketing strategies and different landing pages and different conversations. Okay, week 3, very powerful presentation that actually talks about the science behind networking. This is not just a soft skill. The science of it is why do people respond to you? Why do people want to work with you or don't want to work with you? Okay, so this is where week 3 comes in. Week 4, storytelling. If you don't know how to tell your story in a marketing way to engage with people emotionally, you're missing the mark. Okay, you need to know how to tell your story. And again, this isn't your biography. Okay, it's how do you say it in such a way that quickly creates an emotional bond to your avatar. Week 5, how to structure proper follow-up and reach out emails so you don't sound like that whiny person that comes to me and says nobody opens my emails. Well, that's because you're writing spam and junk. You know, of course nobody wants to respond to that. So that's what week 5 is about. In fact, this is so important that week 6 we actually spend 2 weeks on it. I put somebody in the hot seat and we write the email so everybody can see the process. How do we research them? How do we profile the person that you're reaching out to? What do we say to them? How do we say it? All very important. Week 7, LinkedIn. If you're not using your LinkedIn to generate business, you're missing out. Post-quarantine usage of LinkedIn is up 55%. You need to clean up your LinkedIn. It needs to be your brand's mini landing page, and that's what we cover in week 7, the importance of all of it. Week 8, how to properly communicate with your connections via mass email platforms like MailChimp, right? So a lot of what we talked about today is I was walking you through how to set up your lead magnet, how to build the email. Great, but then you've got to email them. Okay, and what do you say? And how do you set this up? Right? So in week 8, I covered the nurturing portion of now connecting with your potential clients. Okay. And then the rest of it here, it talks about, again, this is just more of the 8-week networking certification trying to mark the dates, 12 to 1:30 p.m. on Wednesdays, same time slot as where we are right now. And it is, all virtual, of course. Right now, we're not meeting in person. So meaning anybody and I have had people around the country join the calls as well, and it works just fine. We're not meeting in person right now. I'm giving you the dates. Wednesday, July 8th. First meeting is 2 hours and the last meeting is 2 hours. But besides that, it's every other, it's 1.5 hours. And a lot of people say, oh, okay, well, if I miss a call, is it going to be recorded? Absolutely. Everything's recorded. If you have to miss 1 or 2 calls, it's not the end of the world. You're going to get the bulk of it. So something to note, and here's, I like this testimonial. I don't want anyone to think this is fake news. I got yelled at for spreading fake news with this testimonials. Okay, this testimonial did not come in today. No one is writing today, but this testimonial came in when stuff was going down. And I love it because this was true, like our country was a bit in chaos and Rick was still, getting clients, and he was still doing well. He was in my program at the time. So Rick was just one of my graduates in this most recent program. Phaedra was in my program as well. This is kind of a longer one, so you know, I don't want to read it right now. I mean, it's on my site. I'll send you all the link, but you know, for lack of time, I just want to make sure I answer everyone's questions. Roberts was another good one too. Simply Gela gets it. She helps entrepreneurs because she is one, and she lives in our world every day, which is so true. And that's what I was telling you. I teach everything that I do. So my hands are in it constantly. I am involved in educating myself and staying up to date on all the latest trends all the time. This was just more of a slide of why people have joined in the past, right? So why others joined. I always knew networking was a valuable tool, and I want to feel good at it. The struggle is finding the value in networking. I know how to be a good networker. I have a lot of trouble when sitting down and talking to people for no reason. I want to see the value. I want there to be a purpose. Okay, well, listen, if you, you know, and this person joined because like this was his conundrum, you know, and he actually connects with people so well. So it was just a few things I have to shift in his mindset, and he saw, oh, now I get it, you know. So everybody comes in at a different level, but it's not, you know, I don't just teach you on network. I do teach you on networking and how to connect with people, but remember, it's networking and marketing and the psychology of it. So when all these things are paired together, it's very powerful. Again, the end goal is to bring you clients, to get you business. Okay, so like I said, I study all this stuff. So I've literally spent thousands of dollars over the years learning this, implementing, constantly testing all the time, you know. So this isn't something I dreamed up all of a sudden. You know, I've definitely put time into my own education with this. You know, which brings me to this slide is, you know, what some of you might be wondering, okay, well, what's my investment in it? Okay, so it's all the way from $300, which is the most basic package, which includes access to the 8-week certification course, all the recording sessions, access to our private Facebook group. There's no one-on-one time with me, but I answered, you know, we're on a call, so all questions get answered. But at the most basic, it's $297, it's $300, okay? The next one up is a $600 package. And it's all of this, including one-on-one time with me. And usually I'll tell you what people use this one-on-one time for. They either want me to help them craft their story, they want me to work with them personally on their LinkedIn, or they want me to work with on their avatar, or all three of those things. So it's like, this is great because after you learn it, you know, you go play with it on your own, and then you get my time and we look at it together. So the one-on-one is, you know, this is if you like hands-on, this is a really good deal. And then there's the $1,000 package, which includes all of that, including me put together an email for your company and sending it to my community. Remember what I said, if you don't have your own email list, borrow somebody else's. Okay, so if you would want like me to promote you to my network, then this is a phenomenal deal, because like, think of all the things you're getting. You're getting the course, you're getting the one-on-one time with me, and you're getting me putting together a nice marketing piece for you that you could reuse in other places and sending it to my network. Okay, so all of these are great. They all serve a purpose, and I should probably send, I'm gonna, oh, it's right here, sorry. I'm going to send this to everybody in the chat right now. Where's my little chat box? Here it is. Okay, there you go. That's the chat box. So let me reshare the screen. I just wanted to make sure I found the chat box. And okay, we talked about the avatar. So, and the final thing I'll say is, you know, I mean, my guarantee is that, you know, if you find the 8 weeks was a complete waste of your time and you didn't benefit from it one bit, I will issue you a full refund. Okay, so I guarantee you, you're not going to be coming in and just me teaching you, oh, where to put your name tag. Like, you know what I mean? That is not kind of networking I'm teaching. Like, I'm teaching you some high level marketing, psychological networking, how do I connect with people concepts. So that is what I've got for you. And we are now at questions. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen. And anyone that has a question, just feel free to unmute yourself. And like I said, could be on the entire presentation, whatever you may have a question on, I am here to help you.
Hey, Gilly, good afternoon. Bill Dukeson here. Thanks again for doing this excellent class. My question is, talking about email lists, is it unethical to trade email lists with people? I mean, have you ever come across that kind of discussion?
It is unethical. It's literally spam. If you're saying that you're going to take somebody else's email address, that's called spam, and you will get marked as a spammer, and rightly so. I'm not a huge fan of buying lists. I'm not a huge fan of, like, to me, unless they've opted into my list somehow or have engaged with me on LinkedIn and I'm letting them know that I'm going to add them to my list, but you can unsubscribe anytime. I don't like it any other way. Like that's you're entering gray area and it's not ideal.
Yeah, that's what I felt that way. Thank you very much.
So Gally, you mentioned that you have different landing pages. And so I'm assuming that you use your massive email list, but do you segregate that list for whatever it is you want people to get out of that going to that particular landing page? So I guess using your terms, do you have different avatars to go to different landing pages?
Yep. So my main landing page right now that I'm pushing, and I've had multiple over the years, but the one I kept showing you guys, this one right here, it goes into a different email bucket inside my MailChimp. And this list doesn't get added to my main list, right? So these people only get invites into my virtual calls. And I have once or twice invited them into my to my webinars, but I don't abuse this list. Like if I promise them virtual networking calls, that's all I use it for, unless somebody tells me otherwise. And the way I would know that is because they join my calls, they engage, and it's like, hey, do you want me to add you to the main list, right? You'll notice that even when all of you registered for my Zoom call, here it is. Here, let me share my screen again very quick. And this is going to answer both of your questions, I believe. Okay, so here's my Zoom call. So we had 80 people registered. I'm not sure how many we had show up, but only 80 people or 80 people registered, right? So that's a lot more people that gave me their email address than actually showed up. And a lot of them are off my own email list, but there are a lot of new ones. So what I do, here we go, view. Okay, so let's look at, for instance, okay, so Eileen. Okay. Eileen, so email address, or, do you receive weekly emails from Gally? Yes. If no, would you like to join Gally's email list to receive notifications of networking opportunities and educational content? So there are a lot of people that said, no, I'm not in Gally's list. And when I asked if they want to be added, they said no. So am I going to add them to the list just because they gave me their email address? No, because that's called spam and that's bad. Okay. So Bill, if that answers your question, like I'm very, now, Jesus, to go back to your question, if they say yes, and they're now giving me permission to add them to my main list, well, now I'm going to do so. Right. So that's kind of how I segment it out, is because you really don't want to start spamming people, because if enough people mark you as a spammer, then all your emails start to go to spam and you get bad rates on the internet. You can get blocked. I mean, it's just not a world you want to enter.
And you mentioned that, so you already have some of the people that you invite, obviously, to the Zoom meetings, you already have their email. But what you're trying to do with the landing page is to capture that information for people that you don't have emails for. Is that correct?
That is correct. But I also do that with the Zoom, right? Because the Zoom is my lead magnet. This webinar, I promote it everywhere. So there are a lot of people, is what I was trying to show you, and I couldn't find a good one quickly. There are a lot of people that registered today that don't get my email addresses, and they...
Your email invites.
Right. You know what I mean? Yeah. So they're not on my list. So basically, I don't know how many there, let's say there's 10. Great. Well, now I just got 10 more people that I can add to my main list.
If
So
they
I'm
opt-
using,
if they
yeah.
click, if they say yes, add me to your. Okay.
Yes.
So how many times is too much a week?
To email?
Yeah, like if you're emailing the same person or the same list on the same topic, what's too much?
Okay. So first I'm going to say might depend on your audience and how often they want to hear from you. You know, I struggle with this myself. I'm in a promotional business, and so I'm always promoting, and people get irritated from getting promotional emails from me, and I get that, but there's not really, I also know I can't really work around it because this is my business,
Mhm.
right? So I follow thought leaders on this, and some of the thought leaders that I follow literally email every single day, but they email interesting content. It's not promotional content. It's not buy my stuff, buy my stuff. It's their stories. They're sharing stories, right? So what do I mean by sharing stories? Okay, well, let's look at I'm going to share my screen here. Oh, my screen is already shared. Okay, let's look at this post I did the other day. This was a mini story, okay? 12 years ago, when I launched Networking Phoenix and started collecting email addresses, I had no idea that I was essentially securing my financial future. Back then, email marketing, digital marketing, recurring revenue, and communities weren't a thing. Today, all those keywords are essential when it comes to running a business. But you didn't have to start 12 years ago to build a list. You can start now, okay? So I'm telling a story and then inviting them, you know, into my seminar. So the
Can you
webinar.
tell us again how you pin, I think you said pinned. So how did you pin that, grow your email picture to that so that it goes to your landing page?
No, this one is not pinned.
Oh, okay.
This is just on my this is my personal.
Oh, okay.
I'll show you how to pin on the Facebook here.
You have to create that with Canva. You created it first, right? And then you linked it to the font to the landing page.
No, that was just an image. Okay, well, you're asking me 3 questions at once. Hold on,
Yeah.
let me break it. No, it's okay. They're great questions, but let me just explain one by one because I don't want you to get confused. So, there's Dawn being excited that I shared her stuff. I love Dawn. Like I said, she's one of my clients. Okay, so this is my personal page. This is an image. Okay, I literally created this an image. This is not a link. This is just an image that I created in Canva. Okay, this is the link to my Zoom. Do you see that, Jesus?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
They're separate things. Okay, so to pin my landing page, now this is my Networking Phoenix page, Facebook page, not my personal profile. With a page, you are allowed to, look, I'm going to unpin this. Okay, so let it refresh. Sorry, it's taking a minute, probably because I have so many tabs open and I'm recording. Okay, so right here, you see, I posted this a few hours ago and I said, you know, whatever I said, and then I gave the link. I did not attach an image here. These images are pulling from the landing page images. Okay, does that clarify?
Not really. I
Okay,
guess I'm a little bit confused. So how did you put the landing page image on there? I guess that's like,
this right here,
yeah.
I didn't.
It did it
Facebook
on,
automatically does it. Here, let's
oh,
just do
when
the
you put the
post.
link on there, it put it on there?
Yes, let's
Oh, okay.
just do another post together. Okay, look. See, look, all I did was copy and paste, and
Mhm.
Facebook page starts to pull in images.
Okay.
And it's pulling in the images from here. See, it pulled in my logo, it pulled in my picture, and it pulled in, well, I think it pulled in this logo too.
Okay,
So
so that does that on its own.
exactly. This does it on its own. All right. And I'm not going to post it because it would be the same exact post as this
Yeah.
one. But look, once I posted, see, these images got pulled in, and then I click on the 3 little dots and I say pin to top of page. Okay. So let's see what happens next. Spinning, spinning, spinning. Okay, right here. See, now it's pinned because it's got a little pin next to it. So now anytime anybody lands on my Networking Phoenix page, this is the first post that they're going to see at the top.
Oh, okay. So that's what the pin does. It puts that up on top. And then will you unpin it at some point after like the session's done? Or do you just until you pin something else?
Well, I'm probably not going to unpin this for a while because I don't see COVID going away anytime soon, or at least the remnants of it. So I'm probably going to be running my virtual calls for a while. So for me, it's in my benefit that this just always stays, for the foreseeable future, stays pinned. Right?
Yeah.
Now, if I have another announcement I want to promote, then I can unpin this one and then pin the other one. And then I can just go back and switch back and forth. Depends on whatever I'm promoting at the moment.
Very cool.
Wonderful questions. Thank you for asking these questions, because if you had this confusion, other people probably did too. And I know I spoke really fast going through this because there was a lot of content to cover. So, but to answer your email question, if you're a good storyteller and you can tell stories in your emails, people are going to be looking forward to your emails, right? Like sending a promotional email every day could be obnoxious, but sending a storyline email of some sort is more interesting to people, right? So like a story with a bit of an education, but you've got to really love to write to do that. Sorry, go ahead.
The whole idea of sending the email is to get them to a landing page with to do something else.
Okay, so you asked another wonderful question. Each email has a different purpose. That you could have email campaigns for a different purpose. So there are, now we're getting into a whole topic. By the way, Jesus, these are all things I teach in my 8 weeks. So I love that you're asking.
Did you get my email on that?
I did get your email. Yes,
okay.
I did. But like, obviously these are questions you also need to know now, right? So it's okay. But what happens is with an email campaign, each email has a different purpose. So we have our promotional campaigns where we're promoting something, right? So for instance, my 8-week, I'm going to be promoting it until the class starts, and then I'm going to stop. So maybe I'll send 4 to 5 emails about it, right? So that's kind of a promotional campaign that's going to have 4 to 5 emails. Then there's the newsletter. My newsletter goes out every Sunday. Okay, every Sunday since the day I started my company 12 years ago, I've been sending out a newsletter that goes, and it's the one that, talks about featured events for the week, right? So that's what that's a newsletter. So you can see how each email has a different purpose. I'm not sending out the same exact email every single time I have a newsletter. I have campaigns that I run sometimes, and then sometimes I have straight up promotional emails like, hey, get like when I have my events, right? I'm not having events, right? I'm doing the virtual events, but think of when I was meeting with people face to face, the in-person events. I was promoting those events up until the day of the event. And it was like, come to my event, come to my event. There's no storyline there. It's just like, hey, I'm throwing a big party and you should come, right? That's a lot more of a promotional email than there's no storyline to it. It's not really a campaign, and it's not a newsletter. So each email has a different purpose.
Okay, I get it. Cool. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Hi, Kelly.
Hi, Julie.
Hi. So I am sorry, I was wrapped up in what I was doing and missed definitely the first half of the call. So I apologize if you answered this. I'll go back and listen. But my question is, I really want to offer something, like you said, free, basically, to get people's emails in the hopes of utilizing it in the future. I don't intend to really do anything with those emails right now, like, send out something weekly, like your newsletter or whatever, but I want to allow people to access information now and yet have that, I guess, those lists of people for later. I mean, I guess my question is sort of twofold. Like, do I need to at least send something every month until I get to the point where I can, really share something with them on a more regular basis? Or like, do people just go and they don't send something for like 6 months and then all of a sudden, use that list and be like, oh, I'm back with such and such content? I was hoping you could speak to that.
Yeah, no, that's a very good question. So, and Julie, I'm going to repeat back to make sure I understood what you're asking, and
Sure.
So everybody's on the same page. So what you're saying is you'd like to build some kind of a lead magnet to start getting leads, but you're not necessarily ready to engage with them and start
Right.
emailing because you don't necessarily have anything else to offer, perhaps. So should you start now? Should you wait? I think that it's never a bad idea to build an email list. Okay. So I would say definitely start. And then what happens if they get it from you, but don't hear from you from 6 months? It's very
Right.
possible they're going to forget who you are and be like, who is this person? How did I get on this list? Like when I was, building Networking Phoenix, this still happens a lot, but now I don't care 12 years into it. But imagine like me, you're building something from scratch. It's your baby. You're pouring love and passion into it. And then people would send me this nasty email, how did you get my email? Take me off your list. And I'm like, and I think I literally responded to one person saying, well, I didn't climb into your computer and steal your email address. You obviously gave it to me. I don't, or something like that. And I'm just like, are you crazy? Like my system is 100% opt in. So I was being like berated and yelled at, and this wasn't a one-time thing. This happened all the time.
Wow.
Where people give you their email address and they forget.
Okay.
So you need to be very careful because and the thing is like the fact that they send you a nasty email, who cares? The fact that they start marking you as a spammer,
Yeah.
that sucks.
Okay.
Because that's going to hurt your rankings.
Yeah. Okay. That's really good food for thought. So what, is there a time frame of a balance where, once a month or once every few weeks where you think there's that fine balance between me not having to figure out what content I'm going to share with them because I need to focus on something else, but I don't want them to forget me and mark me as spam? Is there
right.
a happy medium?
I think the happy medium, I think if you could come up to send something at least once a month.
Okay.
I mean, I think that could be a happy medium.
Okay.
That's it, and it doesn't have to be anything super long, right? Like what could you send once a month to just stay in touch with people and say hello and just offer something of value, even if it's information, industry in the knowledge or knowledge in the industry. Sorry, I'm like, what did I just say? I think I'm a little dehydrated, but just offer people value, and they'll click on your emails. And again, if they start unsubscribing, they're not your avatar. No worry. Like I always tell people, when people unsubscribe, like, do not take it personally. And that's something that I, of course, went through. Again, growing Networking Phoenix, but now, I understand when people unsubscribe, and here's the kicker. There's a lot of people that have unsubscribed from me, and they're now coming back. And there's no way you can subscribe to my system again. You actually have to email me and say, Gelly, please add me back. And I didn't do it on purpose. It's MailChimp. MailChimp does not allow me, like once you've unsubscribed, I can't add you because they think I'm spamming you.
Oh, wow.
So it's a whole process to get back on my email list, but it happens. So it's like sometimes people just don't want to get your emails, and then they want to network, and then they want, so it's like, my point is like, never, and this is for everyone, not just you, Julie, but like, just don't ever take people unsubscribing from you personally. They may need a break, and then they may want to come back, or they may not. And then that's good, because if they don't ever read your emails, it lowers your ranking through MailChimp or whatever you're using.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Great question. And I'm going to send out the recording so you will be able to watch the first part.
Awesome. I appreciate that.
And I love your mic setup. You sound so amazing on my speaker.
Oh, good. I'm glad. I'm actually I'm working on a podcast, so That's why I got this fancy setup. So I'm
It's
glad it
very
sounds good.
Yes, you sound amazing. Yeah,
Thanks.
of course. All right. Does anybody else have questions? Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
I was curious about you're talking about the mail that you hold on a second here. The landing page.
Mhm.
And I was wondering, is that the same as a blog, or is that a little bit different, or what's the difference between them?
Yeah, the landing page is not at all a blog. They're two very separate things, Bill. So if you go back and look at here, let me share my screen again. When I send the recording, you'll be able to. Oh, where did my share screen go? Hold on. When I send out the recording, you're going to be able to go back to all the way. Where is it? Here we go. What is a landing page? Right here.
Yeah.
Okay. So the next few slides tell us what a landing page is. It's a standalone web page created specifically for a marketing or advertising campaign. Okay, it's where a visitor lands after they click on a link from an email, Facebook, basically from somewhere else. And to show you examples of landing pages, remember we talked about, like, this is a landing page right here.
And do you get a landing page from your original web page, or is this just something that's totally different?
So you could do it both ways. Ideally, it should be standalone. It shouldn't be attached to your website, right? So remember, I was suggesting MailChimp. Like, here's an example that we used for Dawn. This is not her website. I mean, she literally built a landing page through MailChimp to offer.
You built MailChimp. Oh.
Yes, you can build them through MailChimp. Yep. And it's very simple.
What other ones? What other ones?
Other examples? Okay, so
what other systems can you use to build landing pages on?
I think you can use a lot of different systems. I use MailChimp for, like, very simple ones. And for instance, if you look at my website, like the 8-week is almost like a landing. I mean, not really. I mean, this is like a sales landing page. This is not what I taught you guys, so I don't want to cause any confusion. But I literally just build out long sales landing pages on my website, right? But this isn't meant to just get your email address. This is meant for you to buy. So there's a lot more information on here. So I use my website. This is through Weebly. I mean, this is not even WordPress, but my blog is on WordPress. So I could use WordPress to build out landing pages. I'm giving you the cheaper ones. I mean, it goes all the way up to the most sophisticated programs out there to build landing pages. I think Unbounce is a popular one. Let's look at that. Let's see. Unbounce. Yeah, it's you can literally build landing pages through them.
Oh, you got Funnel Click?
Yeah, and I don't know, Sales Funnel? Is that what you meant?
Funnel Click.
ClickFunnels. Yes. ClickFunnels is another. Again, it's not expensive. I mean, it's like $100 a month. So if you can afford $100 a month for ClickFunnels, then you should use it. For me, again, a lot of what I do is grassroots, and it works. Because I'm not. Well, I shouldn't say I'm not, but I use it in different scenarios. And the scenario I need my landing pages, MailChimp works beautifully. But ClickFunnels is super extensive. I mean, you built out like a whole, landing page, sales page, upsell page, membership area. And like I said, I believe their pricing is $99 a month. I don't know what Unbounce costs, but I think Unbounce also helps you create landing pages. So
okay, WordPress does it too? Because I have a WordPress page right now, and can I just use the same account for that, or is that a problem?
You should be able to. I mean, you should be able to. I'm trying to think with WordPress. You could. And I only have my personal blog is on WordPress. But I believe if instead of a full-on blog, I just wanted to create a one-pager, I could easily use WordPress to do that. But you may need a different URL, right?
Okay.
Because if
Okay.
your website is on like choyaproductions.com, you can't use that URL. And I don't know that's your website. I'm sorry. Maybe it is.
That is my website. Thank
That
you
is,
for the.
oh, look at that. My gosh, I know your website. I just know it. My psychic abilities are coming out here. But, so you wouldn't be able to use that URL for a landing page. You would maybe have to create something else as a URL. So maybe you would have to buy one from GoDaddy first, and they're $5 to $8 a year.
Yeah. So that would be a lot more expensive than the other ones you're talking about.
I think so, yeah. And that's why, like I said, I'm showing you more of the grassroots, I think at least when you're starting out, it's good to understand the functionality of things and learn on the cheaper products before you upgrade to the more, because if you're spending $100 a month on ClickFunnels, like, you want to know what you're doing. You don't necessarily want to be learning on ClickFunnels. Now, ClickFunnels will tell you otherwise, of course. I'm just sharing my opinion with you.
I appreciate your honesty on that.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Absolutely. Great questions. Anyone else? Thoughts, questions? Well, if not, no worries. I will just say that I definitely appreciate all of you being here and giving me your time, and hopefully this was valuable. And if anyone is interested in my 8-week course, I am happy to, again, I'll follow up with all of you, but I'm happy to schedule a 15-minute call where we can just chat and see, if this is a fit for you. Because that happens a lot of times. People say, okay, but I see what you're doing, but then they have specific questions, or how will this work for me? And will you be covering this and things of that nature? So I'm happy to schedule a 15-minute call. But like I said, a lot of what I teach in the 8-week is the foundational marketing structures you need to have and skills you need to have in order to start building on it. And it's all in the networking sphere. I mean, you're dealing with people. I call it relationship marketing. That's really what the term is, right? Because you're meeting people, you're creating their relationships, you're building them, you're nurturing them, and then you need to close the sale. So that's essentially what a lot of the 8-week covers. And we've got a great group of people that have already signed up. I'm so excited. So if you're interested in networking with an awesome group of people and, while learning with me, then I just, highly encourage you to take a look into it. All right, awesome. So I don't think anyone else has any more questions. So I don't want to keep all of you. Again, I'm just going to say thank you all for being here. It was so good to see all of you. Rick, I feel like I haven't seen you in a while. I go through Rick withdrawals every so often. So
it's been a while.
Yeah, thank you for popping in. And good to see all of you. So and I'm having my virtual networking call this Friday. So you'll see me promoting that. Obviously, if anybody wants to come network with us, let me know. It is turning out, it's grown into being a really cool group of people. Because initially everybody was joining because everybody was kind of scattering. Oh, we can't network in person. What do we do now? And it's kind of filtered down to like a really good core, which makes it easier for me to make introductions, which is kind of cool because in a room full of, when I do face-to-face in-person events, I can't always it's hard to grab somebody by the hand and say, hey, you need to talk to this person. I can do a few of those, but not too many. So I will leave you with that, and I will send the recording and all the links and everything I talked about. So if anyone has any thoughts or questions, you know how to get a hold of me. Have a wonderful rest of your week, and I hope to see you all again soon. And stay safe out there. Please, everyone, stay safe.
Thank you.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you. Bye, everyone.